Joining us now, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's Washington correspondent Alexander Panetta and former communications director for the RNC and Republican strategist Doug Heye. You know, Alexander, I don't think we can underscore enough how badly the Liberal Party was doing up until Donald Trump started going after Canada.
It's like the biblical story of Ezekiel, like blowing life back into a pile of dead bones. And up until about 3 months ago, the Liberal Party of Canada was a pile of dead bones. And just to translate into American English how completely desolate the situation seemed, they were losing special elections in downtown Toronto. This is almost as bad as like the Democrats losing a special election in Nancy Pelosi's district. They were done. They were going to be wiped off the map. And then a couple of things happened. Justin Trudeau resigned. Donald Trump just relentlessly stepped up that rhetorical campaign against Canada. And you saw a rally around the flag effect. And then people rallied around the incumbent Liberal Party.
So what is it going to mean for Canada to have somebody like Mark Carney in charge now? I mean, and if we're talking about it, I think we need to put into context the win here. The Liberals won, but the Conservatives didn't do badly either. Am I wrong to say that?
Yeah, we're going to find out probably within the next, few hours whether Carney's going to have a parliamentary majority or not. And the difference is huge, and it'll affect the way Canada negotiates with the United States. You're going to have trade and security, comprehensive negotiations over the next few months. So if Carney winds up with a majority, that's essentially a guarantee of 4 years in power. And they don't have to worry about an election and domestic politics interfering with international negotiations. If they have a minority and Donald Trump starts asking for things like more access to Canada's dairy market, and the governing Liberal Party is going to be scared of losing a confidence vote in Parliament, by angering the dairy-producing regions like Quebec and its Bloc Québécois. So the politics become a lot more sensitive, and he'll have a lot less maneuvering room to negotiate with the U.S. We'll know within a few hours what sort of majority or minority situation he'll face.
Yeah, because over in Canada, out there, you guys only hand count ballots, right? It takes a little bit longer than it does here in the States.
It's Donald Trump's dream, everything done with pencil and paper, done by hand, and a much less advanced voting than you have in the United States.
All right, Doug, is this a siren or a blinking red light for any Republicans in the country, or does it not get past the northern border?
I don't think it really gets past the northern border. Maybe a couple of seats that are on the northern border, but even those, if that's a Republican seat, they're pretty safe for that Republican. International prestige, though, is a big thing, and Donald Trump has lost a lot of it based on what happened last night. And, Katie, I first was really made aware of just how strong these feelings were about 4 weeks ago. I spoke here in Washington to a group of political figures, government officials from Ottawa. And let me tell you, the palpable anger they had of everything from fears of going through customs to what we're seeing on trade, conversations about dairy, conversations on lumber. It was a palpable anger. And every question was, why did you start this? And ultimately, they were right. And so this victory of a fight that we started, I think takes a lot of prestige off of Donald Trump, and it really emboldens those people in other countries who say, I'm not going to put up with Trump trying to bully me.
What about the broader trade war? I mean, you have The Hill, Alexander Bolton and The Hill writing, Republican lawmakers say there's a good chance that President Trump's trade war will boomerang on Republicans politically in 2026 as rising prices and shrinking growth could offset other accomplishments by the GOP.
No doubt. That is the biggest concern Republicans have. Trump got elected basically for two reasons, and it doesn't have really anything to do with DOGE. It doesn't have anything to do with Canada. It's about lowering prices and fixing the border. The border is pretty secure. Prices have not come down, and if we increase those, it's why I bought a laptop a few weeks ago instead of waiting to get a new one when tariffs come in. People who are looking at those durable goods are making decisions right now as to whether or not they can afford them now, afford them later, or not afford them at all. If prices continue to remain high, and they probably will, that's a real problem politically, not just for Trump, but for Republicans on the ballot.
We have on the banner at the bottom of our screen that that Carney says Canada's relationship, it said it a moment ago, with America is over. Let me play that sound.
Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. These are tragedies, but it's also our new reality. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
But you're going to take us forward.
We have to look out for ourselves We will fight back with everything we have to get the best deal for Canada. We will protect our workers and businesses, and above all, we will build an independent future for our great country.
So, Alexander, is this really the end of the special relationship we've had, or can it bounce back in 3 years if there's somebody else?
You know, JFK once talked about geography making us neighbors and history and economics and necessity making us partners. Maybe we'll get back to that place. But I got to tell you how profoundly disorienting this situation is for Canada. We spent the first half of our history basically as a creation of the superpower of the day, the United Kingdom, and the second half of our history, the indispensable partner of the United States, the reigning superpower of this time. And to be floating around untethered to a great power of the day is a completely new experience. Worried that maybe the superpower of the day is actually hostile to your interests is a completely new phenomenon for Canada, and it's not entirely clear how it's going to navigate that new reality.